It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 24th day of May, 2022. Today's show, folks, is not live, but pre-recorded earlier this morning due to a oncologist appointment that was moved from what was scheduled for this afternoon to 11:30 this morning, and it's an important one. So I had no choice but to tape the show today and get it live at 11 o'clock. Today, folks, is Endless Breakfast Day. That's something that I do all the time. We eat breakfast here for dinner quite often. So I'm all in favor of Endless Breakfast Day. So no matter what time it is today, go out and, have a breakfast. A lot of restaurants serve breakfast all day. Take advantage of it. Cruise ship sailing today from North American ports down to West Palm Beach. Margaritaville at Sea Paradise gets underway. That's a little two-dayer to Freeport. Seattle, Carnival Splendor sails up in Anchorage. You've got Radiance of the Seas land packages, Majestic Princess land packages, and Koningsdam land packages. In Fairbanks, Majestic Princess land packages, Norwegian Bliss land package, New Amsterdam land package, Norwegian Encore land packages, and Grand Princess land packages. Headlines today, and we'll get to all of these stories this morning. Norwegian cancels Asian sailings. We'll tell you why. Carnival joins Net Zero Future Development Program. This was actually a story from yesterday that got left out. Carnival Sunrise returns. Who rather than where? Royal comeback complete. Norwegian escape in Europe. Royal Caribbean to hire more crew from Trinidad and Tobago, and a whole lot more this morning at 11 a.m. If you're listening to this via the podcast, welcome aboard. You can always access the podcast within minutes of the end of this broadcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from, including TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, any of the majors. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and the fat guy will pop up. I'll be back with today's news after a word from one of our network sponsors. Norwegian Cruise Line has decided to cancel all Asia sailings of the Norwegian Sun from October 11th through and including April 25th of 2023. Instead, the ship will be repositioned to Europe during the upcoming winter and spring seasons, where it will offer round-trip sailings to the Canary Islands. This includes, the cancellations include departures from 4 home ports in Asia: Tokyo, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Lam Shabang in Thailand. A statement from Norwegian to Chillie's Cruises last night said, given challenging and inconsistent local travel restrictions related to the public health environment in Asia, we've made the decision to reposition Norwegian Sun from Asia to Europe. All other scheduled cruises from the Norwegian Sun, including the 3 Alaska seasons, which are published, will sail as planned. So basically, folks, if you pull up the Norwegian Sun right now, all you've got is Alaska this year, 2023 and 2024, the Alaska seasons. So details on the European departures and full itineraries are not available yet. I would think they would be up shortly so Norwegian can start selling those cruises. If you've never been on the Norwegian Sun, that's one of my favorite ships. It's a smaller, older ship in the Norwegian line. I liked it a lot. It was actually my first Norwegian ship, as a matter of fact. But anyway, I like the Sun a lot. I've been on it twice. Carnival Corporation with its 9 cruise brands joined the global community of Maersk McKinley Moeller Center for Zero Carbon Shipping, a non-profit independent research development center committed to expediting the transition toward a net zero future for the global maritime industry. The Maersk McKinney Moeller Center for Zero Carbon Delivery aims to advance the maritime industry's transition to low carbon future through collaboration across the value chain, with a long-term ambition to achieve carbon-free transport by 2050. Together with its partners, the center facilitates the development and implementation of sustainable solutions, new technologies, and sustainable crossing paths, while initiating the necessary policy and regulations to enable the transition. The shared vision is in line with Carnival Corporation's own decarbonization goal and drive to achieve a net carbon neutral ship business by 2050. Many of us, even though those of us that are very much pro cruising, will welcome that advancement. The Sunshine Class Carnival Sunrise is ready to resume service after a recent dry dock. While Carnival Cruise Line did not release details on the extent of the work the ship was to undergo, the dry dock was announced back in November and resulted in several canceled cruises due to the maintenance schedule. Tracking data shows the ship en route to Florida ahead of schedule. She's undoubtedly ready to welcome guests with a new, fresh-look paint job after spending almost a month in Cadiz, Spain, for maintenance and repairs. She's going to sail on Thursday, by the way, with passengers again. When discussing holidays and vacations online, Americans tend to talk about who they'll go with rather than where they'll go. I'm not surprised at this one. That's more in line with my thinking. I don't care where it goes, quite often. But then since I travel solo, I don't care that much about who I'm cruising with. But that's a whole other subject. While the sentiment in the past was on the material, such as booking a vacation to a tropical beach, buying a camper van, or visiting historical sites around the world, this has shifted significantly. In a social listening study of 21.3 million online users of key travel terms, the University of Florida and Carnival Cruise Line found that travelers are more engaged in who they travel with rather than where. 20% of summer vacation mentions including doing everything together and spending quality time with loved ones, whether family members, a significant other, or friends. Although the destination might not matter so much anymore, traveling itself is more popular than ever, with millions of people eager to get out of the house for a well-deserved break. Confidence to travel has increased 58% since January, with many turning to the cruise lines for that vacation. And some really good news, the Royal comeback is complete, as Royal Caribbean International has all 26 ships back in passenger service. The final ship is Rhapsody of the Seas, greeting its first guests in more than 2 years as it began the summer season in the Mediterranean. That brings all of the ships back online in Royal Caribbean's line. Norwegian Cruise Line is celebrating the return of European cruises on board 8 of its vessels this summer. From Northern European to the Mediterranean, Norwegian offers guests a wide choice of cruises, calling at no less than 100 ports in Europe this year. The summer marks the return of the first Breakaway Plus cruise ship to Europe. It's the first time since 2015 that Norwegian Escape has visited the Mediterranean, as it sailed this week from Civitavecchia. Norwegian Escape offers guests cruises ranging in length between 7 to 11 nights. Speaking of Royal Caribbean, the recruiting drive is continuing for crew as the company has signed a deal in Trinidad and Tobago to hire more crew. The Miami-based line signed a deal yesterday to recruit 2,000 locals as crew aboard company ships. The signing ceremony for the Memorandum of Understanding was attended by Wendy McDonnell, Regional Vice President of Government Relations, Caribbean for the Royal Caribbean Group, and the Honorable Randell Michelle, Minister of Tourism, Culture, and the Arts. This comes on the news. The company announced similar deals with Barbados and Antigua. And finally, in the news today, folks, wow, that's a barge fire. Cape May Coast Guard was called to a barge fire about 1:15 yesterday. A crew from Station Fortescue was activated to a 300-foot barge with a fire on board. The barge was unmanned and carrying scrap metal and household appliances. What? The barge was unmanned? How do they do that? Is that all computerized now? Have I been asleep? Also responding are multiple units from Bowers Beach Fire Department in Delaware. The barge is in the vicinity of Bombay Hook Point, Delaware. Station Fortescue remains on the scene to ensure a safety zone is kept around the barge for safety of vessel traffic. I guess that it's computerized now, and you send a barge out to sea, and you got it wherever it's going, and it lands, and then it activates the unloading procedures or whatever they do with stuff on a barge. Maybe I can get somebody to discuss that one. That one's over my head. All right, folks, that's going to wrap us up on the news today. Again, like I said earlier, this is a pre-recorded show due to my oncologist appointment. Hopefully, by the time you finished with this, I will have gone through all the testing and have my butt stuck with the Lupron injection. That's scheduled for today. So that's going to wrap me up for today, folks. I'll see everybody back live for Travel and Cruise Industry News on Wednesday. That's tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. As always, folks, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all meet on the high seas. This is the Old Fat Travel Guy. See you tomorrow.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry, so if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.